Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashoda Nandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashoda Nandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashoda Nandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parvajakacharya Astatara Sata Sri Srimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai Anantakoti Vaishnavrinda Ki Jai ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai Gaura Premananda. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Sri Guru and Gauranga. Glories to Srila Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 25, The Glories of Devotional Service, Text 28. devahūtir uvāca, kācit tvayy ucitā bhaktiḥ, kīdṛśī mama gocarā, yayā padam te nirvāṇam, añjasānvāśnavā, devahūtir uvāca, kācit tvayy ucitā bhaktiḥ, kīdṛśī mama gocarā, yayā padam te nirvāṇam, añjasānvāśnavā aham, devahūtir uvāca, kācit tvayy ucitā bhaktiḥ, kīdṛśī mama gocarā, yayā padam te nirvāṇam, añjasānvāśnavā. Devahūtir uvāca, kācit tvayy ucitā bhaktiḥ, kīdṛśī gocarā, yayā padam te nirvāṇam, añjasānvāśnavā. Devahūtir uvāca, kācit tvayy ucitā bhaktiḥ, kīdṛśī mama gocarā, yayā padam te nirvāṇam, devahūtir uvāca, Vaishnavis, devahūtir uvāca, gocarā, yayā padam te nirvāṇam, añjasānvāśnavā aham. Devahūtir uvāca. Devahūti said, kācit, what? Tvayi, unto you. Ucitā, proper. Bhaktiḥ, devotional service. Kīdṛśī, what kind? Mama, by me. Gocarā, fit to be practiced. Yayā, by which. Padam, feet. Te, your. Nirvāṇam, liberation. Añjasā, immediately. Anvāśnavai, shall attain. Aham, I. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Translation. On hearing this statement of the Lord, Devahūti inquired, what kind of devotional service is worth developing and practicing to help me easily and immediately attain the service of your lotus feet? Purport. It is stated in Bhagavad Gita, no one is barred from rendering service to the Lord, whether one is a woman or a laborer or a merchant. If he engages himself in the devotional service of the Lord, he is promoted to the highest perfectional state and goes back home, back to Godhead. The devotional service most suitable for different types of devotees is determined and fixed by the mercy of the spiritual master. Om Jnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. So as Srila Prabhupada often does in his purports, he is paraphrasing a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita. In this case, it's from the 9th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, text 32. Mam hi partha vyapashrita yepi syu papayonaya striyo vaishyas tata sudras tepi yanti padam gatim. So the point of that verse is that in society there is, in terms of material designations, higher and lower categories. In some of his translations or paraphrases of this verse or his comments upon it, Srila Prabhupada says, formally, the different categories mentioned here were considered to be of the lower material rank. Specifically mentioned are women, striya, vaishyas, merchants, and sudras, the working class. So they were, in Srila Prabhupada's meaning, formally categorized as being of a lower status in terms of material calculation. But the point of the verse is someone may be considered of a lower status, but that does not disqualify them from taking up the process of devotional service. And when they do, they are no longer to be considered in that lower category. They attain padam gatim, the topmost level. So sometimes, Srila Prabhupada would point out that in the age of Kali, Kalau Sudra Sambhava, everyone is considered by birth Sudra, because he said even in India, among the families there, they were not really practicing Garbhadan Samskara, the proper Vedic rituals for birth of good progeny. So he said, because of that, kalau sudra sambhava, everyone in terms of their status at birth in the Kali Yuga is Shudra or below. So this category of unqualified, different types of persons it's very broad in this age. And as I said, it included even those below the category of Sudra. Kirata, Hunandra, Pulinda, Pukasha, Abira, Shambha, Yavana, Kashadaya, Yen Yen Yapapa, Yadapa, Shreya, Shreya, Shujanti Tasmai, Prabhavishnavai Namaha. So, below the category of the Sudras are different groups of persons, the Kiratas, the Hunas, who Srila Prabhupada identified with the Germans and the Russians, the Kashas, the Mongolian races, and so on. They were considered to be outside the varnashram system completely. The Sudras were considered part of it. But that verse says that even such people can be raised, they can be purified and raised to the highest spiritual platform by the influence of the Vaishnavas who are empowered by Lord Vishnu, Lord Krishna. So on that basis, Srila Prabhupada spread Krishna consciousness throughout the world. And he mentioned several times he was criticized by different personalities, caste Brahmins in India, for giving initiation to persons from these categories outside the varnashram system. But he did it on the strength of this verse from Bhagavad Gita and the other verse from, I think it's the Srimad Bhagavatam I just mentioned, Kirata Hunendra Palinda Pukasha. So just because someone is in a lower standard doesn't mean they should be kept on that lower platform. They should be elevated. And Srila Prabhupada said, he quoted from the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Brahmanda Brahmate Kon Bhagavan Jeev Guru Krishna Prasadi Paya Bhakti Lata Bij. So these souls who have forgotten Krishna are wandering throughout the universe, taking, according to their karma, different kinds of bodies in different locations. But if one is really fortunate, one can come in contact with the spiritual master. And by the mercy of Guru and Krishna, by their mercy, one can get the seed of devotional service, which if one properly cultivates, yields the fruit of love of God. And Lord Chaitanya's mission was to spread that mercy to every town and village in the world. So Srila Prabhupada was very much in that mood, that by birth or social position, one may be in this position or that position. I mean, the next verse from the Bhagavad Gita after the one I just quoted about the women, the Sudras, the Vaishyas, isn't what to speak of the highly qualified devotees, brahmanas, and rajarshis. You know, they're all meant for achieving this highest goal, whether they're in the higher position or the lower position. Krishna consciousness is for everyone, because ultimately everyone is a spirit soul. Mamaivam so jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana. Krishna explains every living entity is a spirit soul, part and parcel of him. So every soul has the right or the opportunity to become self-realized. It's only by misuse of free will that we identify with these material bodies which exist in different categories. And we forget not only Krishna, but we forget our Swarupa, our original spiritual form. Jivara Swarupa Hoy Krishnara Nityadas. The eternal constitutional position of every living entity is to be a servant of Krishna. And by, as Srila Prabhupada is pointing out, by the mercy of the spiritual master, one can attain direction how to carry out devotional service in such a way as to reveal one's original spiritual identity and be situated in one's constitutional position as an eternal servant of Krishna. So Devahūti is inquiring about these things because she's very intelligent. Of course, she has her whole history, how she got to this position, and we've been going through it. But even though, according to some points of view, she was in a lower position, she's inquiring about the process for achieving the shelter of the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, which is what we should all be doing. Nate vidu svartikatim hi Vishnu, Prahlad Maharaj says. People don't understand that the real goal of life is to seek the shelter of the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu, Lord Krishna. So that is the actual purpose of life. Atato Brahma Jigyasa. We're very fortunate to have achieved this human form of life after perhaps millions of births in lower species. So we should use this human form of life for its proper purpose. Srila Prabhupada, when he was in India speaking with audiences there, he would often say, Bharata Bhamiti Hola Manusha Yanma Yara Janma Sartaka Kari Kari Para Upakara, that one is very fortunate to take the human form of life in Bharata. in India, what we call India, it's called Bharat, like Mahabharata, the history of greater India. So one is very fortunate to take birth there. And India, or Bharat, is meant to give the world spiritual culture. That is its contribution to worldwide human society. And Srila Prabhupada even mentioned that because people in India neglected this duty, various parts of India broke off, like Pakistan. He said, because people have neglected, the brahmanas, the teachers of human society, have neglected their duty to raise the fallen people up. People may have fallen into a low position, but that doesn't mean they should be neglected, ignored, disrespected. They should be recognized for what they are, spirit souls, and they should be raised from that fallen position to their natural state of Krishna consciousness. So that is the purpose of the Krishna consciousness movement. Srila Prabhupada said this word consciousness means the soul, because consciousness is the symptom of the soul. So the highest form of consciousness is Krishna consciousness, and that can be achieved in the human form of life. And if we don't use the human form of life for that purpose, then our next birth may not be in a human body. One may be in the body of a merchant or a worker or man or woman, Sudras and Vaishyas, they're also men, and they're considered to be on this lower category as well. But at least they're in the human form of life, and we can take advantage of Lord Chaitanya's mercy as it comes through Guru Krishna Prasade, both the mercy of Krishna and the mercy of Guru. Krishna is actually the Guru of everyone. He's situated in the heart as Super Soul, as what Srila Prabhupada called Chaitya Guru, the Guru within the heart. And he appears externally in the form of the different types of spiritual masters, the initiating spiritual master, the instructing spiritual master, and the Vartma Pradarshika Guru, who initially guides one on the path of Krishna consciousness. So, Krishna is merciful in that way. When he sees a soul sincerely desires to return to its natural position of being the eternal loving servant of Krishna, then Krishna manifests himself externally in these different forms, and he guides the soul into contact with the spiritual master and the different manifestations of Guru. And also the Vedic literature. You know, Krishna is present in the Srimad Bhagavatam. His words are there in Bhagavad Gita. So if one is fortunate, one comes in touch with the mercy of Krishna and the spiritual master in this way. And you know, just recently we've celebrated Janmashtami and Vyasa Puja. You know, they come very close together in our case. So it makes us consider the mercy of Krishna and the mercy of Guru. So on the Vyasa Puja day here and elsewhere, devotees were reflecting on how they encountered the mercy of Guru and Krishna in this life and received the seed of devotional service, the bhakti lata bij. And for each of us, a different service is revealed, how we can awaken our Krishna consciousness. You know, as Srila Prabhupada is stating here, the devotional service most suitable for different types of devotees is determined and fixed by the mercy of the spiritual master. So we're instructed, tadvidi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te gyanam gyaninas tattvadarshinaha. That the system is to approach a bona fide spiritual master and inquire about these things, as Devahūti is inquiring from Kardama Muni. You know, she's being given as an example of that. She's inquiring, what is the best kind of devotional service? As we know, in general, the general principle is that we should practice devotional service. But exactly what sort of service we should do, what is best for us, is revealed through disciplic succession. Evam parampara praptam imam rujarshyo viduhu. Direction about devotional service comes through the parampara system from the spiritual master, who is the external representative of Supersoul. So Krishna, as the guru within the heart, knows everything about us. You know, sometimes Srila Prabhupada was mentioning, you know, like sometimes he'd be asked questions. Like I was reading one set of questions after one of his Bhagavad Gita classes, and a woman asked him, why don't I remember my past lives? You know, I mean, Prabhupada said you can't even remember things in this life. What you were doing 2 hours ago or 2 years ago, you can't remember. But Krishna is the witness in the heart. He remembers everything you did, and he gives you intelligence. And if you're properly situated, tesham sada yuktanam bhajatam pratipurvakam, Buddha Yoga, he gives the intelligence by which to come to him. So that is what Devahūti is asking. How will I know the right kind of devotional service that will bring me to your lotus feet? Well, Krishna explains in Bhagavad Gita, if you're taking shelter of me, just like Krishna said in that verse from Bhagavad Gita, Mam vyapashrita, one who really takes shelter of me, not just ashrita, but vyapashrita, means specifically, intensely takes shelter of me. Krishna says, for such a person, I will give them the intelligence to come to me. So, we're on the path of devotional service, and each of us has our particular path that has been chalked out for us by Krishna from within the heart and through his confidential servant, his external representation as the spiritual master, the different kinds of spiritual masters, and also through the transcendental literatures that have come down to us through the parampara system. So I'll stop there. Any questions or comments? Yes?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. So the point in the purport that you also mentioned was that the devotional services are given by the spiritual master to the disciple. I wanted to ask, in a practical way, does that mean that the spiritual master will tell the disciple to do one specific devotional service, or is it just devotional service in general? And then, like in a world where some gurus have so many disciples, how is it practical for every disciple to receive such devotional service?
Tandara Charana Seve Bhaktiḥ Vas. We serve the gurus in a society of devotees, which is set up by a founder acharya like Srila Prabhupada. And so the spiritual master, and by implication Krishna, have arranged for devotees to serve within a sangha or society that's been set up. And someone may receive an order from the spiritual master, the Diksha Guru or the Siksha Guru, or through the authority system that has been set up by them. You know, like myself, you know, I'm a disciple of Srila Prabhupada. He never instructed me personally, directly, to do the service that I did, but he did say, in general, he wanted his disciples to write for Back to Godhead magazine, to publish through the Bhaktivedanta Book Trust, to reach out to the world in general, and he specifically emphasized science preaching. So in general, I knew he wanted those things and different. So I asked authorities, like my temple president in Miami temple, which was one of the first temples I was in. he asked me when I came to that temple, what do you want to do here? I said, I'd like to write. So he gave me some instruction. He said, that's very good. Srila Prabhupada wants his disciples to write. So, but it should be done in a mood of service. So he said, you take up some service in the temple here, and in your spare time, write some article and send it into Back to Godhead magazine. So I took it that that instruction was coming from my spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada, because this was his system that he set up, that the temple president is there, the GBC is there, the BBT trustees are there, the editor of Back to Godhead magazine is there, who he appointed. So I followed that instruction. I wrote some things, and then I was called here to Los Angeles and was given different assignments by the BBT trustees and the editor of the magazine. And I've taken up a service. So one may get, now some devotees were ordered directly by Srila Prabhupada personally, to take up a particular service. So it may come like that, or it may come through the representatives of the spiritual master and the sangha that the spiritual master sets up for carrying on his mission. But ultimately, I see it that these arrangements are ultimately made by Krishna through his representatives or directly. Anything else? Okay, Hare Krishna, glories to Srila Prabhupada, glories to Srimad Bhagavatam.